When will we be able to play Football Manager 26? Well, we'll go through that and the latest news in the release saga, I suppose, as we're going to call it, for Football Manager 26. There's been some big news dropping over the past week. So we'll go through all of that on the Tactically YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and like to keep up to date with all the Football Manager content. If you missed it earlier this week, we went over who I'll be managing this year. Head over there so you can watch that video. Again, like that one whilst you're over there, and you can find out who we will be taking the reins of when Football Manager 26 does release. But for now, let's go through what we know about Football Manager 26. So the big news is when we will be able to play Football Manager. There were some rumours that we will be able to watch it and play it. More importantly, yesterday, as we're recording this on the Friday, there was hopes that it would come out on Thursday following previous conventions. But it looks like we're going to be able to get it next Thursday, would be my guess. Looking at this tweet from Football Manager saying, understandably, over the past 24 hours there's been increased speculation about the advanced access beta. We're just finalising the details and we'll have a concrete date to share with you next week, saying we're nearly there. It does feel like that. It feels like it's been a slow grind together, but we're nearly there. So when will we see Football Manager? If we're taking this at face value, my guess would be at some point next Thursday morning probably. Some rumours saying Tuesday or so. I think there was a leak as well, but I would personally say Thursday next week. So that gives us a chance to say that the details will be shared early next week. So we'll wait. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be able to play it next week. So there's your first hint as to what to expect about when we can play Football Manager. Let me know your opinion on it. It's a bit later compared to past seasons, but again, you know, in the grand scheme of things, what does it mean? Not a huge amount. The more interesting thing to go over is what's been happening with someone who's already played Football Manager. We'll go on to that right now. That's right, one lucky person has already been able to play an early version of the Football Manager game. Chris Tapsell here, the deputy editorial director at Eurogamer, has played an early version of the game and been able to publish this article on Eurogamer. As I say, just if you want to read the full article in your own time, the link will be in the description of this video. This title, I think, sums it up as you'd expect. It's going to take a lot of getting used to. So let's go through the main parts of this article that kind of stand out to me. This bit, every save takes a little while to set up. That's normal, but the big gamble say that's taken to a whole new level. There's a lot to relearn. I think we all knew that going into this game, so I don't think that in itself is anything to get worried about. I think we can always read too much into these sorts of things. When we get little drips of information, it's really easy to get, I don't know, confused and worried about the game, because, you know, it's obviously something that you've paid money for. You don't want to feel like you've wasted your money. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Like I say, it's a lot of the same but a new layout. So I suppose we'll take it. I think it's not too bad. The newness starting straight away. This bit is quite interesting. When you're setting up your manager, you now have to change coaching style. You have to pick coaching styles instead of numbers. I don't know about you. I think this might help players like me. I never really went through and changed all my individual attributes. I just set it up once and didn't touch it. So I think this might make it easier to have new identities as a manager, you have to pick from attacking, defensive, developer, energetic, entertainer, pragmatist, specialist, systems builder, and tactician. And then mental styles: driven, disciplined, resilient, convincing, inspirational, and accomplished. So that's very interesting. And you rate it on a system, I think, from average to very good or something like that. So I think it's an interesting new way of thinking about it. I am intrigued to see how that would work. I can see the thoughts here. It says, like, when you've got the numbers in the background, why not just give us these numbers in the first place? But for me personally, I might be a fan of this. I think this is quite interesting. Now we get on to the interesting bits, though. We get some screenshots. I'm looking forward to this. This is mostly what we've seen before. You can see here, this is Yui Hasegawa, Manchester City midfielder. And you see their stats here. Obviously, the women's game, new to Football Manager 26. Looking forward to getting a bit of practice in with that. And you can see here, the new layout. This is the recruitment overview, so you can see how for Manchester City here you've got a player database, and you've got the most recommended players. I think that's quite interesting. I think the overall thoughts for Football Manager is how can we get all the information in one place, I think, without having to do all of the little eye icons, and we'll get onto that in a minute. All the contracts, this I'm a big fan of, actually. I think it's brilliant. You can see your budgets in one place. You can't see your position in, your squad planner is more integrated there, which I think is brilliant. People have been calling for that, so that I'm a big fan of. Again, you can see here Hasegawa as well, Alex Greenwood there. You can see the advanced setup. This is when you start your game as well, so I think that'll be quite useful. Interesting how it's split to men's leagues and women's leagues on the same thing, so you can just choose to not have the women's leagues or not have the men's leagues completely, I'd imagine, or just have a mix of the two, which I think most people will be doing. And again here, again is the what we've just been over, the overall recruitment view. So that is quite interesting. But then this is what I think a lot of people are worried about. You used to click like an eye to get like a brief overview. You can't do that, and now in order to get back to that screen, they've not thought of that in. I know Football Manager are thinking about, they're still fixing a lot of bugs and making some changes, although, given we are a week away from release, do wonder how many of these will get fixed. As for the portal, it's basically your inbox, and that's good. The inbox works absolutely fine. And whilst, yes, Football Manager in the real world isn't typically done by a laptop and Gmail account, an email system of to-dos in a brief on the left was quite good. So hopefully the portal works similar to that. So we will see how that gets on. A mild improvement. Again, I think that's what Football Manager this year was. It's mainly about the graphics, isn't it? It's not necessarily about going on leaps and bounds. I know people will expect that. Let's see how it gets on. This is some more screenshots from in the game. You can see Manchester City, the featured team here. Donnarumma in goal with a fairly typical Manchester City lineup. We can go through and see some more of the graphics. I think this is brilliant. I think it's from a women's game, obviously. Medina there for Manchester City. The graphics look amazing, don't they? Obviously, I think the most important thing here with the new engine is to say this is the very basic level. We will see so much more improvement in this match engine than we did with the other one, so I'm not too worried about that. I think the only way is up with these, and that's not saying that these are bad. That's me saying that these are going to improve. A new layout at the bottom, so you don't see all of the faces that you can. I imagine skins will come out eventually. I know a lot of people run with skins. They can get more information at the bottom here, so that'll be interesting to see how that develops. Not personally a fan of goalkeeper, all of that sort of thing on the bottom there. I'd like to see player names. I feel like that's fairly understandable though. The big change though, even bigger than the UI, is on the pitch, and it's the tactics. Is the big change. The stuff is, after a few hours, fantastic. So I think if you want to just download and play, you're going to be in a bit of bother. I think there's a lot of new changes you've got to recognise, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm excited to get my hands stuck into this. Here you can see some more of the tactics. This is how Manchester City have set up in possession. You can see how far up you've got the fullback there, inverted wing back in Nico O'Reilly. So that'll be interesting. Look how in detail this is. It feels a lot more user friendly as well, which for me is brilliant. You see the in possession, the different tactics here. I think it's brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into it. It feels a lot more appropriate to modern football, I think, and that's the main thing. That's what I'm really looking forward to. It just feels like it's more appropriate to modern football, and I think that's what we needed. I know Football Manager has done a good job with keeping up with the development of the game, but these in and out of possession formations, I mean, that's what we see in all levels of football now these days, isn't it? So I think that's a really good improvement. You can see all of the different ratings for some of the players for Brighton we're on now, and the lineup they've got. You can see, I think this is the shared screen, isn't it? The team shape one, so you can see how there's two different, well, on this one it's the same formation, but I imagine you can have this as two different formations. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Really, really big fan of this. This all looks good, but now we get on to the worrying bit, I think, where it says it should be a little bit tempted. A lot of people worry there's a few bugs still in there. I know Football Manager themselves have questioned it, and the amount of bugs there are in the game, they are aware of it. Again, this is the early access beta, so we shouldn't expect the game to be in its complete stage until the 4th of November. So there are things still to be improved, but yeah, UI snags might have workarounds, things like that. There are going to be improvements. I know he talks about a lot of bugs that are still working. I think the version of this game was a couple of weeks ago from when this article's released as well, so there's certainly areas for improvement. I'm sure a lot of those areas have already been improved. But what do you think? Let me know what you think. That's the latest news out of Football Manager. Again, if you want to read the full article, Chris Tapsell for Eurogamer, you can read it. The link will be in the description. Let me know what you think about the article. But I think the positive signs are there. I don't think there's any game-changing things other than that manager, how you set up your manager that we've learnt there. But I don't think it's anything to get too worried about personally. But what do you make of the new Football Manager news, the latest updates about the game? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and like the video whilst you're at it as well. We're trying our best to build a new Football Manager community here. It's been the Tactically YouTube channel. My name's been Callum Davis. I'll see you in the next one.